Hello everyone, welcome back to Jenna Voice. Today I want to make a video on how I did my pin curls for Pagliacci, mainly because this was the first show I was ever wigged for, so this was my first time ever doing pin curls. I was completely intimidated and kind of terrified when I realized I would have to do them for this production, but once I was shown how to do them by the hair and makeup artist, and I got some practice in, it really was not as horrible as I predicted it to be. As you can see, I have lots of hair. My hair is pretty long, it's pretty thick, it has some texture to it, but I'm able to get the pin curls accomplished. So for those of you in a similar situation where you have lots of hair and it scares you, or if you've never done them before and you're just curious on how to do them, hopefully this video will help you. So I'm gonna do my best looking in the viewfinder here. I'm sure it's not gonna look amazing since I'm not looking in a mirror, but you'll get the gist of the technique of how to put the pin curls together and do your whole head. So the biggest tip that I received from the hair and makeup artist was to do really small sections, like 1-inch sections. So for me, starting with that would be right here at the center, near my hairline, and I would kind of just guesstimate, like that's about 1 inch. Like it doesn't need to be perfect. And that was another thing about the pin curls, like they don't need to look perfect. You put a cap on top that's kind of this nylon material and it flattens all the strays, any pieces that are kind of just like sticking out, like they don't need to be perfect. The next biggest thing with the pin curls is you do not want to twist your hair. You do not want to start doing this where you get this really tight little rope of hair, if that makes sense. The goal is to keep your section of hair that you're rolling as flat as possible in the pin curl so that it looks more like a cinnamon roll rather than, I'm trying to think what a good analogy would be. But anyway, so instead of twisting, what I would do is I would put my 2 fingers of my left hand at the base of my head and just kind of wrap, and doing my best not to twist as I wrap. It's not perfect, like I said, but I'm just trying to keep it as flat as possible. Then I slide my fingers out, press down, and grab some bobby pins. And the hair and makeup artist that did the show, she suggested to keep the bobby pins in like a ski formation. So see how I have 2 that are pointing this way, keeping the open end pointed towards the crown of my head as I work on these, is most helpful to people who are wigging you. So now I have my first pin curl. I can't really see how it turned out. I'm assuming it's decent. At the very center of my head. Next, I want to do 2 more sets at the front of my face, or the front of my hair. So I'm going to do 2 here, well, 1 here on each side and 1 here on each side. Again, only taking 1 inch of hair at a time. And if at any time you just feel like one didn't turn out so great, like see this one's kind of hanging into my forehead a bit and I just want to pull it back, you can just add extra bobby pins as you need to. Again, trying to hopefully, you know, keep them pointed in this direction towards the back of my head, like I said before. Alrighty, so I have my front done where I just have the center one, two here and two here. As you can see, it didn't go all the way down to my ears, but that's okay. The next part that I do involves most of the rest of my hair. I was shocked to find out, at least by this hair and makeup artist, to do pin curls, you don't need to do these little circles for your entire head. That's kind of what I imagined going into it. But actually what you do with most of the rest of your hair, you take it into big sections and wrap it loosely in big circles. And I'll show you that as I'm doing it. But like I said, this is the first time I've done pin curls. Maybe there are other ways to do it, but this is how I was taught to do it, and I'm kind of glad that I didn't have to do these for my entire head because it would have taken so much longer. So anyway, what I do, because I have so much hair, I take it into, well, first I kind of break it into one big section, pulling most of my hair back. And I leave a little bit on the bottom for two pin curls like these, the smaller ones that are gonna go at the base of your head, or the very top of your neck, to leave something for the wig to grab onto. So I'm gonna just pull those pieces aside to make sure I don't grab them. And then I'm gonna, I have my big pony with the rest of my hair. I'm going to separate that in half horizontally. So kind of just running my finger halfway through that. Again, doesn't need to be perfect by any means. And I still feel like I have way more on the top. All right, that's a bit better. So I'm just gonna take all of that, move it over here so I make sure it doesn't get mixed up with what I'm currently working on. So people who have shorter hair, I'm sure this is easier. But anyway, now I am separating what's left on the top half in half again, this time vertically, so I have a left side and a right side. About the same amount of hair in each half is ideal. But anyway, so once I have that broken in half, I'm going to pick a side. I'm going to start with my right, and I'm going to start wrapping it in the opposite direction. And when I say wrapping it, I really just mean like loosely putting it in a circle around the crown of my head. So I'm just going to go slowly and pin as I go, kind of leaving that other section hanging in the center, if that makes sense. I'm wrapping around that other half that I'm leaving behind, so that it doesn't get in the way when I'm wrapping. And trying to move this up close to right behind those pin curls that I already made, just so that I have space for that second round of hair once I get to it, that I can just keep that more towards the center. Like I said, the goal is really just to keep your hair as flat as possible. So I'm keeping it loose. I'm not trying to twist as I go, because if you twist, that is what creates the extra volume and bumps, and that's what we want to avoid. So anyway. And I would say the direction of the bobby pins doesn't matter as much when you're doing this back section, because a lot of them are going to be covered up, as opposed to these front and very bottom pin curls where the wig is most in contact with, if that makes sense. I'm honestly going a lot by sensation because I really can't see all of what my hair is doing because of the background and because this is not a mirror. So again, it's not going to be perfect, but that's okay. So now I am grabbing that left section that I left behind before. It's not part of all of this hair that I've yet to do. And I am doing the same thing, but wrapping it in the opposite direction. So I'm going to the right this time. All right, I'm gonna say that's good enough for now. I mean, again, it's not perfect. You see little bits sticking out, but keep in mind, we have more wrapping to do. And of course, like I said before, when we're done, we get this net that's gonna really just pull everything down and flatten it out. So these little pieces that you see popping out, like, they're really not gonna be a problem later down the line. So anyway, now it's time to take that bottom section, again remembering that we need to still do a little bit on the bottom, 2 more pin curls, so keep that little section of hair out of the way to make sure you don't wrap it prematurely. And then again, I'm going to break it vertically into 2 sections, and I'll start with the right again, and then again going in that opposite direction. And then again, taking that final section, which is on the left side, so I'm wrapping it towards the right, in the same way that I've been doing all the other sections. Okay, I think that'll do it. I think that gives you guys a pretty good idea of how the most of the hair really doesn't need to be done in a tight pin curl. It looks a little bit like I have a bee's nest right now, but like I said, when you put that cap on, it really just sucks all that hair straight down to your head, which is really nice. So to finish, I have those 2 little pin curls that I've been talking about just at the bottom of my head, one on the left side and one on the right side. So I'm gonna wrap those just like I did the first pin curls on my head. Guess my camera decided that I had been filming too long. But anyway, so now I have done those 2 little pin curls at the bottom of my head. I'm sure they don't look perfect, but like I said, the cap fixes all little pieces of hair. I will quick turn around just to show you guys what the back looks like. Like I said, it's not gonna be perfect, and that's really okay. The point is to get all of your hair up on your head as flat as possible so you don't have lumps, so your wig can attach smoothly, and with practice it really becomes so much easier. All right, you guys, so that is my really basic tutorial on how to do pin curls. If this is your first time doing pin curls and you're feeling really overwhelmed, I promise you it's not as bad as it seems. Take time to practice before your first dress rehearsal if you need to. But like I said, with me, I got faster every single time I did it, every single dress rehearsal and show. My time got shorter and shorter as I got used to the pattern and the rhythm of putting my hair in pin curls. So I hope this was helpful. If you liked it, give it a thumbs up. If you have any other tips for getting your hair up for pin curls and wigs, leave a comment down below. I'd love to hear it. And as always, make sure you're subscribed so you can keep up with more videos like this one. And I'll talk to you all very soon. Bye.